Hello everyone and welcome to my session. Today I'm going to talk about AWS Control Tower and Landing Zone. Let me introduce myself for all of you that don't know who I am. I'm Zamira, Jaupaj, Solution Architect and Mobiquity. My main responsibility is to help customers with their digital transformation through the process of design and building solution following the best practices. I have more than 7 years of experience implementing critical and complex AWS solution with virtual machine, containers, serverless, data analytics for small and enterprise company. I remember the first time when I touched AWS console, it was only some services like EC2 and S3, but as you see today, AWS console is so rich, a lot of features, a lot of services. And I am organizer of AWS user group here in Netherlands and Albania, coordinating several meetups with international speakers. Also this year, I was recognized by AWS as APN ambassador and AWS community hero. Also, if you want to find more about me, I am also in social media. You can find me in LinkedIn, Twitter. In this session, I want to show you my experience. My agenda for today is based on three main topics. The first one, main problems, the challenge that actual problems that companies are facing to govern and secure their data and systems, to have a good structure for their cloud environments, including basic IT capabilities such as logging, account vending, or multiple AWS accounts, monitoring, etc., etc. In the second part, I will talk about landing zone provided by Control Tower, the features and the capability of a landing zone. And the last one, but not less important, I will talk what is the next step. Could I extend this landing zone provided by AWS based on my needs? Let's get started with the first one, main challenge, and let's see what is the main challenge that companies are facing. I would like to start with one example. Let's imagine a company organization structure is made as teams such as finance, marketing, security, engineering, etc., etc. Each team has certain activity in order to archive their goals, functionality, and the process that with them made cross business. As the company gets bigger, the activities increase and the size and the functionality of the teams increase. Therefore, they need for a centralized and well-architected structure, so everything works perfectly as they expected. Why so important for a company? In my experience so far with enterprise company, one of the biggest challenge that there is to find a good solution to govern their systems and data in secure, efficient, and scalable way. So they are truly looking for a full spectrum of the process to keep their data under control. Who can access what and when? If there is security and vulnerability in place, there are regularity auditors, etc., etc. So they want to have a good structure for their cloud environment that includes all the basic IT capability, change management solution to handle any change securely, centralized account management, centralized logging, centralized policy compliance, security baseline, centralized cost, defense solution, etc., etc. The same logics follows AWS landing zone, a set of AWS accounts, services, features, and process between them. Each account or service has certain activity, functionality, and all of this is governed by AWS Control Tower. So AWS Control Tower actually is not like a person, it's a managed service by AWS that offer you highly efficient governance solution, AWS landing zone, providing an automated way of implementing, such as cloud landing zone, following the best practices by AWS. If you're an enterprise company with a large number of applications and distributed teams, cloud setup and governance can be complex and require a lot of time, slowing down your innovation that you are trying to speed up. So AWS Control Tower comes this for this purpose. So this service offer you the possibility to provide an easy way and to set up a govern and secure multiple AWS accounts based on the best practices established by AWS for thousands of enterprise. What are the capability of landing zone? So we said the control tower offer landing zone, but we don't know what are the capability. Landing zone is basically a centralized management solution for accounts, services, process between them, and each of these accounts or each of these services has certain activity and functionality. What is important, all of these accounts are isolated by each other. We in a centralized solution, we can have centralized policy, centralized security guardrails, centralized compliance, application logging, service catalog, etc., etc. I talk about challenges in the first phase of this session. Now I want to see what are the solutions that AWS Control Tower offer. What does Control Tower do? The features and the capability of Control Tower. How many services do I launch? What about my security? What about my governance? What about my baseline? In which way I have to deploy my application, my services? There are four important key to remember about Control Tower solution: scalability, security, speedy way, high availability. The first one, scalability. The solution is fully scalable. You can request as many accounts as you want, as many services as you want. You can extend the solution based on your need and your requirements. Or what about security? You can apply security and compliance policy using established guardrail, which prevent resources being deployed that don't conform the policy. Plus, you can detect or remind these accounts or services are non-compliant. What about speedy way? Less than 2 hours, you can speed the full AWS landing zone using Control Tower, AWS Control Tower, and you have the 3 AWS accounts: master account, login account, and audit account, and a lot of services that are part of landing zone, part of baseline. High availability. Probably most of you know already that AWS is cross global location, cross regions and availability zone, and all of them are isolated by each other. So Control Tower is already supported in some region in AWS, in USA, in North Virginia, or Ohio and Oregon. In Europe is supported only in Ireland, and in Asia in Sydney. However, soon I guess there are coming some more region. Let's get started with some features and capability that Control Tower offer. So one of the main, let's say, solution that Control Tower offers is itself landing zone that is well architected, multiple AWS environment that is based on security and compliance best practice, including organization Unix, service catalog, where you can provide provision in new AWS accounts, single sign-on, etc., etc. Landing zone can scale to fit the needs of enterprise to any size. Guardrails are high level rules that provide ongoing performance on your overall AWS environments. And there are two kinds of rules: prevent and detective rules. Centralized access management, when you can set up users, permission, groups, and who can access what and when in which accounts. However, later on I will explain in details. An account factory, this allows you to set up new AWS accounts. Is configure account template that help you to standardize the provision of new AWS account with pre-configured account configuration. In this picture, in this table, the first part are 3 AWS accounts: master account, log account, and audit account. All of them are part of core organization unit, and they are also environment that you can extend it as many environment as you want, as many account as you want, based on your needs. In the first one, let's start with master account. What is the purpose of this account? So mainly in these accounts are created all the services that the main purpose of this service is to govern all landing zone. For example, a single sign-on, service catalog when you provision a new account. Here is also hosted Control Tower itself that set up landing zone and other services as well. It's also for billing. So for billing for the cost, you can have full overview of all the costs for all account services in all regions. Log account. This account is centralized login account when you collect all the API activity for all resources in all accounts and all regions. And audit account, this account is restricted account, is designed to give you a security and compliance team read and write access to all AWS accounts that are part of landing zone. This account don't allow you to log in AWS accounts manually. So there are some setup rules set up already in this account. Starting from the services that are part of each account in the first part of the table, there are some services or baseline that are applied automatically in all AWS accounts. This because are very important. These services, first of all, to connect the accounts together, cross-account permission, automation, and etc. etc. Let's start with one service, AWS Cloud Formation. This services is so our template refer to initial baseline or blueprint where Control Tower create all the services automatically. Identity provider, this services is also created in all AWS accounts. This because we want to secure and allow permission cross accounts to use the resources. Another service also is IAM role that is created in all AWS accounts. This role is set up to grant permission cross-account and cross-resources to use specific API. There are three types of roles created in during the landing zone setup. Service link and role. This kind of role is linked to specific resources, allowing these resources to call other API or other services. For example, Control Tower itself has a service IAM role linked to these services, allowing Control Tower to create service catalog, single sign-on, or other services as well. Another type of role that is created is cross-account role. This type of role delegate access cross AWS accounts. In this scenario, audit account and log account, a low master account to use their resources. SAML federation role, this also is to delegate access cross AWS account, but using SAML federation. Another service that is part also of Control Tower and is applied to all AWS accounts is CloudTrail. CloudTrail allows you to collect all the histories of API through AWS Management Console, SDK, command line, and probably other AWS services as well. And a Control Tower allows you to enable AWS CloudTrail in all accounts and all the regions automatically. So when you set up a Control Tower, CloudTrail is already enabled in all accounts and all regions. Also is set up a S3 bucket in centralized login account. When you collect all the API from all accounts and all the region in this, is also a second bucket for replication. So in case you can lose some logs, you have a second bucket for as a backup. Another service that is part of Control Tower is Service Catalog, allow you to provision portfolios and add the product based on requirement and specific budget. Control Tower create itself its portfolio with already associated a product. It's called AWS Control Tower Control Account Factory. When you provision a new account in AWS, then you want to add a new account that is part of Control Tower, you are going through the Account Factory. Something that I wanted to say here is no specified budget in this portfolio that is, but also you can specify budget. Sorry. You can specify also what kind of product and who can access, which group can access, and which group can launch specific product in this portfolio. Another service is AWS Organization. This is created only in master account as service catalog. I forgot to tell that service catalog, AWS Organization, single sign-on are created only in master account. This because all of these services are to govern the part of landing zone, let's say. AWS Organization is used to create an account organization structure into groups and apply a service control policy in each of them to ensure that your accounts stay within your organization access control guidelines. Under root, there are two main groups, core and customers. Under cons, there are two AWS accounts, login and audit. Both of these accounts are shared accounts. When in login accounts, we say we share the logs, and in audit account, the security and compliance. Under customers, there is no account that is set up by default by Control Tower. However, this is the purpose that you can set up your environments in this organization. Single sign-on also is part of master account. This allows you to centralize access management and permission in AWS accounts. You can authenticate AWS account with single user and password through the customer-friendly link that single sign-on provides for you. You can set up user permission, group permissions, account permission, session duration, who can access what. So you can create a group of developer, operation, DevOps, and each team can have probably different permission. You can assign one group to specific account or specific resources, attaching the specific policy for each of them. So basically you don't create IAM Roles users in child account, but all of these users are governed in master account in a single sign-on. Here they are a part of, let's say, a group of services. Is not only one services. This because this workflow is applied in all services. Let me explain better about this. All of these services are applied to ensure some compliance. Applying guardrails is completely related to guardrails to the rules, configuration, and security. Let's see how these services work together in this solution provided by AWS Control Tower. So in the following workflow, I want to show you when this S3 bucket became non-compliant services, and you get the notification automatically in security account through the SNS topic. So let's see the workflow step by step. Let's see S3 bucket, or the user is going to create a public S3 bucket, or probably change the existing bucket from private to public, and this user is not allowed to create this bucket. AWS config, AWS config check your S3 bucket to not allow public access, read access. If an S3 bucket policy or bucket ACL allow you public read access, this bucket became non-compliant. CloudWatch event rules trigger an SNS topic, and when this configuration rules change from, so this service became a non-compliant service. In this case, is S3 bucket. SNS topic invokes Lambda function. Lambda function get this information. So Lambda function in each account get information from SNS topic that this specific service became non-compliant. Here is just an example S3, but can be every service. This depends on your rules, and send the notification in audit account. And here is the security. Take care about this action. So they take some action, probably they change automatically or manually the things. What about security baseline? I explained before that in master account there is service catalog when you can set up and provision in new AWS accounts. But when you set up these accounts, some baseline are applied in each of these accounts. This because Control Tower ensure you that these accounts is set up following some of the best practices. So is a starting point for establishing and implementing account security baseline for your organization. And there are some features and services that enable. First one in MFA is enabling automatically in all accounts. AWS CloudTrail, this also is enabled in all accounts and regions. AWS config rules, there are some rules setups in all accounts. For example, don't allow to create a public bucket, don't allow to create EBS that is not encrypted, RDS that is not encrypted, etc., etc. Identity and access management, password policy, root account multi-factor authenticator, Amazon S3 bucket read and public access, and some other rules. Cross-account access is used to configure audit and emergency security administrator access to AWS landing zone. Also about networking, Control Tower provide you or allow you to automatically delete the default VPC, so you can set up your own networking design. Probably you can have more public layer or more private layer, depend on your solution and your application. Shared accounts includes login account and audit account. However, you can add more accounts for different purposes. For example, centralized directory, active directory, for single sign-on integration, perhaps some infrastructure scanning or EBS volume, golden AMI, DNS, cross account IAM role, etc., etc. And what about the cost? Is this very expensive, this solution? Well, not really. I use this landing zone solution by Control Tower for just for 1 month, and I spent just $3. So it's wow. I have fully solution, 3 AWS accounts, a lot of features, a lot of rules, guardrails, policy, compliance, the best solution following the best practice of AWS, and I didn't really spend too much. This because Control Tower itself, there is no additional cost. You can pay only for some services that are part of Control Tower. I pay around let's say less than $2 for AWS config rules that are basically 2 configuration items, 31 resources for 2 accounts, 4 regions, and for 2 configuration states changes. Also, I paid less than $1 for S3 bucket that collect all the logs, cross accounts and cross region, and some cost as well for the taxes for AWS. So summarizing what I said, Control Tower offer you a good multiple environment, access management, network design, login strategy solution, when you can automate using established blueprint and having in place the guardrail, ensure that all of them are deployed as expected, following the policy, following the rules. It's a good point to start. As your company grows, you can extend the landing zone solution by adding more environments, more features, more security, more rules based on your needs and your requirements. So Control Tower can help you to get quickly and safely in the cloud. However, Control Tower is just basic standard solution. So it might not fit your specific needs. Let's see a possible solution. Should I extend landing zone, Control Tower landing zone provided by AWS? Should I customize Control Tower landing zone? But before answering this question, I want to show you some limitation based on my experience that I had with Control Tower. So, organization unit, service catalog, single sign-on. I already had this in my accounts, And if you have already this service, this organization unit or service catalog single sign-on, AWS Control Tower doesn't allow you to add existing service to this landing zone solution. But from other side, Control Tower itself create a AWS organization unit, create service catalog, create single sign-on. But if you have already in place or in home, you can't add it in this in landing zone solution by Control Tower. About networking, as I said before, allow you to delete the default VPC that is super good for security purpose. However, there are some limitations when you design the networking automatically by Control Tower. So you can have only 2 private subnets. If you need to have more private subnet, you have to go specific account and just create it automatically or manually the networking. About API, this is, I guess, one of the biggest limitation that right now has Control Tower. So you can't create Control Tower automatically. The only way to create Control Tower on full landing zone is just to go through the AWS Management Console. So I mean, it's not require a lot of time. It's just less than 2 hours. You have 3 accounts and full landing zone provided by AWS. However, in case you want to automate to provision a new versioning, it's for now it's not supported any API. Guardrails and scalability. So for guardrails, only some basic rules like S3 bucket, ABS, RDS. However, you can extend it, you can add more rules. But what is important is you can't do it automatically. You have to do it manually. Just go in AWS Management Console, etc., etc. Here is a solution that I designed for one of the biggest customers in Mobiquity. So we added more AWS accounts, part of this landing zone by Control Tower. As you see here, is CI/CD account is just tooling accounts to share continuous integration, continuous delivery. Dev, pre-prod, and production account are environment when you host application of our customer. Let's see the purpose of in details of these accounts. DevOps accounts, this allows DevOps teams to successfully release application across AWS accounts, across different environment, dev, pre-prod, and production in this case. However, you can have more seat accounts, sandbox, or probably UAT. This is just an example. Doesn't matter what your DevOps process looks like or what kind of tools you are using. It's important that these accounts, when you are hosting continuous integration and continuous delivery, is completely isolated by environment when you are hosting the application. What about dev, pre-prod, and prod? Dev accounts, the purpose of this account is allowing developers to start developing things, to experiment, to learn, to innovate, build things up. Here, developers deploy their code to test the new implementation, new features, and new bugs. Once the code is considered stable, they start to deploy their code in other environments. Pre-prod or UAT, however you can call it, the name is just the name. Where the quality assurance is performed, test access the staging environment to ensure the application works as it should. The environment, there are different kind of tests, security tests to detect the bugs and ensure the application is ready for production. Production, this is the most critical environment where the production applications are made available to end users. We should have very limitation access to this environment, ensure the right connectivity is there. We need to make sure the collection of all the logs are in centralized account. We have probably backup or a disaster recovery strategy in this account, and many security and compliance for DevOps account. And the last part that I wanted to cover is we designed also centralized login solution for this client that is part of landing zone. In enterprise accounts, some of the most critical things are controlling the logs, managing the logs, storing the logs in secure way, centralized storage, etc. Centralized logs save time, increase the reliability of your data, and allow you to filter the most significant data and most significant critical logs for auditing process and compliance in the large organization. Let me explain how this workflows works. We had different environments, probably dev, UAT, and production when we are hosting our application. Also, we have CI/CD accounts when we have continuous integration, building and deploy application, and we want to make sure that we're going to collect all the logs from application, infrastructure logs, database logs, networking logs, etc., etc. We collect all the logs in each account in CloudWatch, in specific account, CloudWatch destination, and all the logs are shifted in CloudWatch subscription in centralized or data analytics accounts for operation purpose or for analytics purpose. Let me explain this workflow, how this works in real time. Kinesis Data Firehose is created to deliver log data from the data stream to Amazon S3 bucket for debugging purpose and Amazon Elasticsearch for analytics purpose. However, you can decide to have different destinations. So Kinesis Firehose already support a lot of destination automatically by default without writing any code. Also, we have a Lambda function in the middle that do validation and transformation of the logs. You can put some rules in Kinesis Firehose when you decide to put the logs in destination by time and by size. That's mean. So for example, if you want to do every minute and every 1 gigabyte, and you can put the logs in destination. What is important is that you do validation, as I said, with Lambda function before sending the log in destination. And this is all my session for today. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much.